Reality Shapeshifter. The Hidden Power to Shape Your Reality. By David Russo. Introduction. My friend, you are a reality shifter. Whether you recognize it yet or not, every moment of your life has been quietly molded by the unseen forces within you, your thoughts, your attention, your emotions, your beliefs, your routines, and ultimately, the sense of self you carry. Since the day you became aware, you've been influencing reality, yet no one ever showed you the magnitude of your power. You were never meant to be a passive actor in your own story. You were born to be the author. Somewhere along the way, though, you were handed a script written by others, by family, society, circumstance, fear, past experiences, and limitations that weren't yours to choose. You were trained to react, not to create. To adjust, not to lead. To accept reality as it comes rather than shape it from within. That stops here. This book is your invitation back to your innate power, the quiet, profound power to craft your reality from the inside out. Not by chance. Not by luck. But by the undeniable truth, what you carry inside shapes the world around you. Reality isn't something that simply happens to you. Reality flows through you. Every thought you nurture, every belief you embrace, every emotion you indulge, every habit you repeat, they are not trivial. They are the architecture of your life. They design the patterns that steer your destiny. And when you learn to guide them with awareness and intention, your world begins to transform. Sometimes the change comes slowly, like the turning of a great wheel. Sometimes it arrives suddenly, like a door swinging open that you never noticed. On this journey, you will discover how to direct your focus with precision. Transform emotions into driving force. Rewrite the beliefs that confine you. Take purposeful action, or magnetize the right actions toward you. Forge habits that strengthen your chosen reality. Embody the identity of a conscious creator. As you step further into this mastery, you'll uncover a strange, beautiful paradox. There will be times when you move reality, and times when reality moves toward you. This is the way of the reality shifter, not someone escaping life, but someone actively co-creating it. Someone who understands that the inner world is not hidden, it is the workshop where the outer world is crafted. So take a deep breath. Settle into yourself. And let these words awaken what you've always known. You are not here merely to survive reality. You are here to shape it. Welcome, friend. Your transformation begins now. Chapter 1: The Nature of Reality and Your Place Within It. Reality. It is the one word we all believe we understand, until we try to define it. To some, reality is solid, fixed, and unchangeable. To others, it is flexible, influenced by mindset, perception, and consciousness. But here is the truth you were never taught. Reality is not a single thing. It is a relationship, a dance, between the world outside you and the world within you. The outer world provides the material. Your inner world shapes the meaning. Your perception, your focus, your beliefs, your expectations, these are not passive experiences. They are forces. For most people, these forces operate unconsciously, influencing their lives without their awareness. But for the reality shapeshifter, someone like you, they become tools. You do not simply observe reality. You interact with it in ways far deeper than you've ever realized. The lens that creates your world. Imagine your mind as a lens. Two people can stand in the same place, face the same situation, and walk away with completely different experiences. Why? Because each is living with a different lens, one shaped by their inner world. This lens is made of what you believe is possible, what you expect will happen, what you fear most, what you assume about yourself, where your attention naturally goes. Your lens is not a decoration. It is the mechanism through which reality is interpreted, and therefore shaped. If you believe the world is against you, you will find evidence everywhere. If you believe opportunities surround you, you will notice doors others walk right past. Your lens directs your focus, and your focus determines the part of reality you experience. This is why two people can live in the same world but inhabit two completely different realities. You may not control everything that happens around you. But you absolutely control how reality feels, how you interpret it, and what you do with it, and those choices shape what happens next. The world within the world. Inside every physical experience is a psychological and energetic experience. And as strange as it may sound at first, the inner world often leads the outer world, not the other way around. Think of your inner world as the architect's drawing. The blueprint. The energetic sketch. Your thoughts sketch possibilities. Your emotions add color, weight, and momentum. Your beliefs choose which versions of reality you're willing to accept as real. Your habits reinforce those beliefs. And your identity, the story you tell about who you are, becomes the final structural foundation. By the time physical reality arrives, the inner world has already shaped it. Some people call this psychology. Some call it energy. Others call it manifestation or alignment. You may give it whatever name makes sense to you. But the mechanism is the same. Inner patterns become outer experiences. Where you stand in this dance. You are not a spectator in life. You are a participant, even when you feel powerless, even when life feels random, even when you believe things just happen. Your reactions to life are part of the creation process. Your expectations influence outcomes. Your emotional state colors your actions and draws experiences toward you. Your beliefs open or close paths. Your identity silently commands your future. I am this kind of person, and this is the kind of life I get. You are shaping your reality constantly. The difference between a passive shaper and a conscious shaper is simple. One is accidental, the other intentional. In this book, your power is coming out of the shadows. You will learn to shape your reality with awareness, direction, and mastery. You will learn how focus behaves like a magnet. How thoughts create trajectories. How emotion fuels manifestation. How belief edits the possibilities available to you. How your habits sculpt your destiny. And eventually, how your identity becomes the engine of your entire reality. This is not about denying challenges or pretending life is perfect. It is about understanding the role you play in every moment, even the difficult ones. When you understand your influence, even chaos becomes navigable. The door to your power. You do not need to force reality into submission. You only need to understand how it works. Once you recognize that you live in a dynamic relationship with your reality, one where your inner world subtly guides your outer experience, everything changes. You are no longer hopeless. You are no longer waiting for circumstances to shift. You are no longer a character waiting for rescue. You become the author, the director, the architect. And as you embrace that role, you realize that shaping reality is not some mystical ability granted to a chosen few. It is your natural function as a conscious being. You have been doing it your entire life. Now you will do it deliberately. Welcome to your first step as a reality shapeshifter. The journey ahead will not give you power, it will reveal the power you already have. A power that, once awakened, changes everything. Chapter 2, Focus, the first lever of reality. Before anything can change in your life, your focus must change. Focus is the very first lever of reality because it determines the direction of your inner world, and therefore the shape of your outer world. You may think you see with your eyes, but the truth is this. You see with your attention. Your eyes only deliver information. Your mind decides what to emphasize, what to ignore, what to interpret, and what to turn into meaning. Focus is the sculptor of your experience. Imagine standing in a room filled with 100 sounds. All of them are present, yet you only hear the one you tune into. Reality works the same way. There are always infinite possibilities swirling around you, but the one you focus on becomes the one you participate in. Where your attention goes, your life follows. The power of selective reality. Most people believe they are experiencing the world as it is. But this is an illusion. You experience the world as you are, not as it is. The human mind filters out 99% of all available information every second. This means your focus is not just deciding what you notice, it is deciding what becomes real to you. Two people can walk into the same situation, one sees opportunity, the other sees danger. One sees potential, the other sees failure. One sees a lesson, the other sees a burden. What changed? Not the world. Only their focus. Focus acts like a magnet. It draws toward you the information, people, and experiences that match the frequency of your attention. It's why when you're excited about a new idea, you start seeing signs everywhere. It's why when you're afraid of something, everything seems to confirm that fear. Focus amplifies the inner world until it becomes the outer world. This is what makes focus the first step in reality shaping. You cannot create a reality you refuse to notice. The art of intentional focus. For most of your life, your focus has been shaped by habit, environment, and emotion. You may believe you are choosing what to think about, but more often, you are reacting to noise, to stress, to old stories, to the past. To shape reality consciously, you must reclaim your focus. You must choose what deserves your attention and what does not. Intentional focus begins with 3 questions. 1. What am I giving energy to right now? 2. Does this thought build the reality I want? 3. Is my focus being directed by intention or by habit? When you ask these questions consistently, you shift from being a passenger to becoming the driver of your daily experience. Intentional focus is powerful not because it forces change, but because it prepares change. It aligns your energy with the future you intend to create. And when you hold focus with clarity and consistency, reality begins to reorganize itself around your inner commitment. Focus is not a wish. It is a declaration. The hidden cost of scattered focus. When your attention is divided, your power is divided. Scattered focus creates scattered results. It weakens your inner world until your thoughts lose their influence and your emotions become chaotic. You cannot shape reality while your mind is pulled in 20 different directions. The reality shapeshifter must learn to direct their attention the way a river carves a canyon, deliberately, patiently, and with tremendous force. Distraction is not harmless. It steals your creative energy, dilutes your intention, and keeps you locked in the same patterns day after day. The person who masters focus becomes magnetic. People feel it. Situations respond to it. Life bends toward the clarity of someone who knows what they want. Focus as a frequency. Reality responds not just to what you think about, but to the quality of your attention. Fearful focus pulls you into the world you dread. Hopeful focus opens new pathways. Confident focus creates momentum. Neutral focus keeps you in place. Your focus is a signal. It broadcasts your inner state. And because reality is responsive, it echoes back the frequency you emit. This is why the combination of focus and emotion is so powerful. When your attention is steady and your emotional state is aligned, reality begins to shift with surprising speed. Doors open. People appear. Solutions reveal themselves. What seems like coincidence is often simply alignment. You choose the spotlight. Everything in your life, every problem, every possibility, sits on the same stage. Only one thing stands in the spotlight at a time. Most people shine the spotlight on what hurts, what scares them, or what they feel they cannot control. But the reality shapeshifter asks a different question. What deserves my spotlight? Because whatever you illuminate becomes the center of your reality. What you feed grows. What you starve dissolves. You don't have to fight your thoughts. You don't have to destroy your fears. You simply have to redirect the spotlight, again and again, until your focus becomes a habit and your habit becomes your nature. Claiming the first lever. Focus is the first lever of reality because it precedes all others. Your thoughts take shape where your focus rests. Your emotions respond to what your attention touches. Your beliefs form around what you repeatedly notice. Your actions follow the direction of your attention. Your destiny emerges from what you consistently choose to see. In the next chapters, you will learn how thought, emotion, belief, habit, and identity build upon this foundation. But for now, remember this. Where your focus goes, reality flows. And from this moment on, you have the power to choose the flow. Chapter 3, Thoughtcraft, the Architecture of the Inner World. Thoughts are not random flickers of the mind. They are the building blocks of the inner world, the quiet architects shaping the foundation of your external life. Every thought carries a frequency, a direction, a momentum, and a subtle power. Most people experience their thoughts passively, as if the mind is a radio they cannot turn off. But you, a reality shapeshifter in the making, are learning something different. Thoughts can be chosen. Thoughts can be designed. Thoughts can be crafted with intention. This is the art of thoughtcraft. The structure of a thought. A thought is more than a mental sentence or image. It is a packet of energy that contains meaning, what the thought implies about you or the world. Emotion, the feeling it stirs or dampens. Expectation, the outcome it predicts. Memory, the past it references or reinforces. Identity, who you are in the story the thought tells. In other words, a single thought is a small version of your entire belief system. It acts like a seed: plant it, water it with emotion and repetition, and it grows into your lived experience. Your thoughts are not powerless whispers. They are instructions for the reality you are shaping. The difference between active thoughts and automatic thoughts. Automatic thoughts appear without effort. They spring from old experiences, conditioned beliefs, fears, insecurities, or long-standing habits of interpretation. These thoughts serve one purpose: to keep your mind consistent with your past. Automatic thoughts are echoes. They repeat what you've believed before. Active thoughts, however, are chosen. They emerge from who you are becoming rather than who you have been. They bend reality forward instead of backward. When you begin crafting your thoughts intentionally, you interrupt the automatic patterns that have shaped your life for years. You rewire the lens described in Chapter 1. You shift your focus described in Chapter 2. And soon, thoughtcraft becomes a tool not to escape your reality, but to reshape it from the inside out. The story your thoughts tell. Every thought is part of a narrative you are constantly writing about yourself. I always struggle. Things never go my way. I'm not ready yet. People like me don't succeed. These may seem like harmless lines, but they become the script you perform in your daily life. And because your mind seeks consistency, it will unconsciously push you to behave in ways that confirm the script you speak internally. But here's the truth hidden behind every story you tell yourself. If you can think a story, you can rewrite it. A single new thought can interrupt an old identity. A single upgraded belief can collapse years of limitation. A single moment of clarity can turn the direction of your life. Thoughtcraft begins with noticing the story. Mastery begins with rewriting it. Thoughts as reality filters. Your thoughts do not only shape the world inside you, they filter the world outside you. If you think you are unworthy, you will interpret neutral events as rejection. If you think you are capable, those same events become stepping stones. If you expect failure, your mind highlights obstacles. If you expect success, your mind highlights solutions. Thoughts create a cognitive bias. You find what you believe. You see what you think. You cannot outlive your thoughts. You cannot outperform the narratives running in the background of your mind. But you can change them. This is the first step toward bending reality to your will. Choose the thoughts that choose your future. The crafting process. Thoughtcraft is not about forcing positive thinking or pretending everything is perfect. That is not power, that is avoidance. Instead, the craft unfolds in 3 steps. 1. Awareness. Notice the thought. Hold it in your mind without judgment. Ask, is this thought building the reality I want? 2. Disruption. Interrupt the old pattern. You can challenge it, question it, or simply refuse to give it your energy. All you need is a moment of separation between you and the thought. 3. Creation. Choose a thought that aligns with your desired identity and the reality you want to shape. Not a fantasy, but an upgraded version of your truth. Instead of, I can't do this, you shift to, I'm learning to master this. Instead of, nothing ever works out, you choose, things are beginning to move in my favor. Instead of, I'll always struggle, you craft, I'm becoming someone who handles challenges with strength and clarity. These crafted thoughts become mental habits. Then they become emotional patterns. Then they become the architecture of your reality. The mind's loyalty. Your mind is loyal. It will follow whatever thoughts you repeat most consistently. It does not judge whether those thoughts empower or weaken you, it simply obeys the patterns you reinforce. Thoughtcraft is how you take leadership of your mind. It is how you stop living as the echo of your past and begin shaping the reality of your future. Your mind listens to you. Your thoughts respond to your direction. And once your thoughts shift, the world around you begins to shift as well. This is the architecture of your inner world. This is the foundation of manifestation. This is the second lever of reality shaping. But thoughtcraft alone is not enough. A thought without emotion is like a seed without soil. In the next chapter, we will explore the emotional signature, the force that gives your thoughts weight, momentum, and magnetic power. Chapter 4, The Emotional Signature. If thoughts are the architects of your inner world, then emotion is the electricity that brings those structures to life. Emotion is not a weakness or a distraction. It is one of the most powerful forces within you, an energy field that colors your experiences, amplifies your intentions, and magnetizes your reality. While thoughts shape direction, emotion provides momentum. A thought without emotion is like a compass without a traveler. But when thought and emotion merge, your entire inner world begins to shift. And when the inner world moves, the outer world eventually follows. Every thought you think emits a frequency. But every emotion you feel strengthens or weakens that signal. Emotion is the signature of your inner state, the vibration reality responds to. Emotion as energy in motion. The word emotion literally means energy in motion. Emotions move you toward something or away from something. They influence your behavior, your focus, your perception, and your decisions. They guide the flow of your life more than logic ever will. Fear moves you backward. Excitement moves you forward. Confidence moves you boldly. Doubt freezes your motion. Gratitude opens doors. Shame closes them. Peace stabilizes you. Anger ignites you. Emotion is not simply a feeling. It is a form of movement in your consciousness. When you understand this, you stop fighting your emotions and start working with them. The amplifying power of emotion. Every emotion carries intensity. The more intense the emotion, the more influence it has on your thoughts and the shape of your reality. When emotion becomes attached to a thought, the thought gains weight. It becomes memorable. It becomes believable. It becomes a pattern. And eventually, it becomes part of your identity. This is why emotionally charged experiences define us so deeply, they imprint themselves into our inner world. But here is the empowering truth. You can use positive, aligned emotions to imprint new realities into your life just as powerfully. Confidence imprints capability. Gratitude imprints abundance. Joy imprints possibility. Calmness imprints clarity. Determination imprints strength. Emotion turns intention into influence. Your emotional set point. Every person has an emotional home, a familiar set of feelings they return to, no matter what happens externally. For some, this home is anxiety. For others, it's frustration. For others, it might be inspiration or optimism. Your emotional set point acts like a thermostat. Even if something exciting happens, you eventually return to your usual emotional temperature. Even if something disappointing occurs, you drift back toward that baseline. And once your emotional set point shifts, your entire reality begins to reorganize itself to match the new level. Emotional alchemy, transforming feeling into power. Emotional alchemy is the art of transforming raw emotion into something useful, constructive, and powerful. It is not about suppressing negative emotions or forcing yourself to feel good. That approach fragments your inner world and weakens your power. True emotional alchemy means 1. Acknowledging what you feel. 2. Understanding the message, and 3. Redirecting the emotion into alignment. Fear becomes clarity when examined. Anger becomes fuel when understood. Sadness becomes depth when honored. Frustration becomes guidance when listened to. Even doubt can become wisdom when questioned. All emotions contain energy. With awareness, intention, and patience, you can turn that energy into momentum. This is how emotional mastery is born, not by control, but by connection. Emotion as your magnetic field. Your emotional state is the energy you broadcast into the world. It shapes the conversations you attract, the opportunities you notice, the choices you make, and the experiences that unfold around you. Emotion has gravity. It pulls circumstances toward you that match its frequency. When you hold emotions of scarcity, you perceive a world full of lack. When you hold emotions of abundance, you begin to see pathways that were invisible before. When you hold emotions of defeat, everything feels heavy. When you hold emotions of empowerment, everything becomes possible. The emotional signature you give off is not just an internal experience, it becomes part of your external reality. This is why manifestation is not only about mindset, it is about the emotional state you consistently reside in. The bridge between thought and reality. Emotion sits between thought and manifestation. Thought creates the intention. Emotion infuses it with energy. The combination directs your actions, your focus, your beliefs, and your behavior, shaping the reality you encounter. To master your reality, you must master your emotional energy. Not by forcing yourself to feel a certain way, but by aligning your emotions with the version of yourself you are becoming. Ask yourself, what does the future me feel on a daily basis? What emotional frequency matches the reality I want to create? How can I invite that feeling into my body right now? When you begin living emotionally aligned with your future begins moving toward you. This is emotional mastery. This is the heart of conscious creation. This is the signature that shapes your reality. Chapter 5, Beliefs, the Invisible Blueprint. If thoughts are the architecture and emotions are the energy, then beliefs are the blueprint, the underlying structure that determines what your reality is allowed to become. Beliefs are not simply ideas you hold. They are the silent contracts you've made with life. They determine what you expect, what you allow, what you tolerate, and what you reject. Most people think beliefs are reflections of reality. But the deeper truth is that reality very often behaves as a reflection of your beliefs. Your beliefs act as filters shaping what you perceive, as rules shaping how you behave, and as boundaries shaping what you think is possible. And because you live inside your beliefs, they often feel like facts, even when they are nothing more than learned assumptions. A belief is a thought you've accepted so deeply that it became part of your identity. How beliefs shape experience. Every belief has consequences. Whether empowering or limiting, each belief quietly influences your daily life. If you believe you are unlucky, you will overlook opportunities. If you believe you are unworthy, you will sabotage possibilities. If you believe you're destined to struggle, you will choose paths filled with resistance. If you believe life supports you, you'll notice help appearing where others see none. If you believe abundance is available, you'll naturally gravitate toward choices that expand your life. Your beliefs determine what you see and what you don't see. What you try and what you avoid. What you attract and what you repel. And perhaps most importantly, your beliefs determine who you think you are. And who you think you are is the strongest force shaping your destiny. Inherited, imprinted, and adopted beliefs. Most beliefs are not consciously chosen. They are inherited, imprinted, or adopted. Inherited beliefs. From family, culture, religion, and society. These are beliefs you absorbed simply by being near them. They feel natural because they were never questioned. Imprinted beliefs. Formed by emotional experiences, especially painful ones. A childhood rejection becomes, I'm not enough. A financial setback becomes, money is dangerous. A heartbreak becomes, trust leads to pain. Adopted beliefs. Picked up from repetition, from teachers, peers, partners, television, or social circles. You internalized them because they sounded true in the moment. None of these beliefs are destiny. They are simply programming, scripts written for you, not by you. The reality shapeshifter learns to examine these scripts and rewrite them. The belief loop, how reality reinforces itself. Beliefs don't simply sit quietly in the background. They create a loop that constantly reinforces themselves. 1. You believe something. 2. That belief shapes your focus, emotions, and behavior. 3. Your behavior leads to certain outcomes. 4. Those outcomes prove the original belief. 5. The belief becomes even stronger. This loop works for positive beliefs just as strongly as negative ones. I always figure things out, you keep trying, you succeed, the belief strengthens. People tend to help me, you trust, more people respond positively, the belief expands. When you break a limiting belief, you break the entire loop that has been holding you back. This is the beginning of liberation. The illusion of permanence. One of the most powerful lies a limiting belief tells you is this: I've always believed this, so it must be true. But beliefs are not unchangeable. They are not fixed lines carved into stone. They are learned patterns, mental habits, and like any habit, they can be replaced. At any moment, you can choose a new belief. Not by forcing yourself to blindly believe harder, but by slowly shifting your internal evidence, your emotional associations, and your identity. A belief only survives because you continue to feed it. When you withdraw your attention, the belief weakens. When you question it, the belief cracks. When you act against it, the belief collapses. And when you replace it, the belief disappears. You are not trapped by your beliefs. You are illuminated by your awareness of them. Rewriting the blueprint. To reshape your reality, you must reshape the beliefs that shape you. The process of belief transformation happens in 3 stages. 1. Identification. Become aware of the belief by observing your recurring thoughts, emotional reactions, and patterns. Ask yourself, what belief would someone need to hold to behave this way? What belief is causing this emotional response? Where did this belief come from? 2. Interruption. Challenge the belief. Ask, is this always true? Did I choose this belief or inherit it? Does this belief belong to the person I am becoming? A belief loses power the moment you stop treating it as a fact. 3. Replacement. Choose a new belief that supports your growth. Not a fantasy, but a believable upgrade, something your future self would confidently hold. For example, instead of, I'm terrible at relationships, you shift to, I'm learning how to create healthy connections. Instead of, money is hard to make, you shift to, I'm becoming someone who understands how to create value. Instead of, I always fail, you shift to, I am capable of success, and each step moves me closer. Belief transformation is not instant, but it is powerful. Every time you reinforce the new belief with action, emotion, or focus, you rewrite the blueprint of your inner world. You are the architect of your beliefs. No belief is greater than you. No belief is stronger than your awareness. No belief can survive the moment you decide it no longer fits the identity you are stepping into. As a reality shapeshifter, you are learning to choose your beliefs consciously, not as automatic imprints from the past, but as intentional foundations for the future you're shaping. Once you change what you believe, you change what you see. Once you change what you see, you change what you choose. And once you change what you choose, you change your reality. Beliefs are not walls. They are doors. And you now hold the key. Your identity answers a silent question you carry everywhere. Who do I believe I am? And the world you create is shaped by that answer. To change your life in a lasting way, you must not only shape your thoughts and emotions, you must shape your sense of self. Because you will never behave in a way that fundamentally contradicts your identity. You can force change temporarily, but your identity always pulls you back to what is familiar. Identity is not just who you are. It is who you allow yourself to be. The power of the I am story. Every moment of your life, you are reinforcing a story about who you are. I'm bad with money. I'm not a confident person. I'm always anxious. I'm unlucky in relationships. I'm the kind of person who never finishes what I start. But the most important truth about these stories is this. You wrote them. And you can rewrite them. Identity can evolve. Identity can expand. Identity can be rebuilt consciously and deliberately. This is the master key to reality shaping. Identity drives behavior, not the other way around. Most people try to change their lives through willpower alone, by forcing new behaviors while holding on to old identities. But behavior that contradicts identity does not last. For example, you may try to save money. But if you still identify as someone who always struggles financially, you will find ways to sabotage yourself. You may try to exercise. But if you see yourself as lazy or undisciplined, your old habits will eventually return. You may try to be more confident. But if your identity is built around insecurity, your new behaviors will feel like an uncomfortable costume. To create lasting transformation, you must shift the identity that drives the behavior. When you transform identity, action becomes natural, effortless, and aligned. You no longer try to do the thing. You become the person who naturally does it. Identity is a pattern, not a prison. Identity feels fixed because you've repeated it for so long. But identity is not a permanent definition. It is simply a familiar pattern of thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and behaviors. Identity is malleable. Identity is fluid. Identity is chosen, consciously or unconsciously. You can choose new patterns at any time. You can choose to become someone you have never been before. You can choose to adopt a version of yourself that reflects your future, not your past. This is not delusion. This is evolution. The future self principle. The most powerful identity shift is rooted in a simple question. Who is the version of me that already has the reality I desire? Sit with that for a moment. What do they believe? What do they focus on? How do they think? What emotions do they embody? What habits define them? What standards do they hold? What actions do they take naturally? Your future self is not a fantasy. It is a template. A blueprint of possibility. A version of you that already exists energetically, mentally, and emotionally, waiting for you to step into it. Every time you align with your future self, even in small ways, you shift your identity. And as your identity shifts, your reality follows. Identity is vibration. Identity is not only a psychological concept, it is an energetic frequency. Every identity carries a vibration. The identity of a victim carries the frequency of powerlessness. The identity of a creator carries the frequency of possibility. The identity of an achiever carries the frequency of movement. The identity of a confident person carries the frequency of certainty. The identity of someone abundant carries the frequency of openness and flow. When you shift your identity, you shift your entire energetic signature. And reality responds to the frequency you radiate. Identity is the vibration you live from. And reality meets you at the level of your vibration. The identity shift process. Identity does not change all at once. It evolves through alignment and repetition. Here is the 3-step process every reality shapeshifter must master. 1. Choose the identity. Decide who you are becoming. Name it. Claim it. Let it be clear and simple. I am becoming someone who trusts themselves. I am becoming the kind of person who attracts opportunities. I am becoming someone who follows through. I am becoming a person who shapes their reality with intention. 2. Align with the identity. Act and think in ways that match the new identity, even if it feels small. Even if it feels unfamiliar. Small alignment repeated becomes powerful alignment sustained. 3. Reinforce the identity. Celebrate every action that reflects your new self. Let each win, no matter how small, become evidence of your transformation. Identity grows stronger every time you acknowledge it. This is how identities are built. Not through force, but through alignment. The identity you choose shapes the reality you experience. Your identity is the root from which your life grows. Change the root, and the entire tree changes. Change who you believe you are, and you change what becomes possible for you. You are not limited by the person you have been. You are invited to become the person you choose to be. Identity is the ultimate lever. It is the source of your power. And once you become the version of you who shapes reality, reality has no choice but to follow. Chapter 7, Habits, the Daily Machinery of Creation. If identity is the seed and belief is the design, then habits are the machinery, the everyday motions that turn your inner landscape into lived experience. Habits form the passageway between intention and outcome. Without them, even the most vivid vision or strongest self-concept stays theoretical. Habits supply the practical force that turns possibility into reality. Think of habits not as mundane routines, but as automatic expressions of your inner self. They are your identity made visible. Your daily actions reveal the story you truly believe about who you are. And life mirrors that story back to you. The habit feedback cycle. Habits operate through repeating loops. You take an action, experience a result, feel something about that result, and your mind stores the pattern. With enough repetition, the loop becomes self-running. Supportive habits reinforce empowering outcomes. Unhelpful habits solidify limiting cycles. Neutral habits keep everything exactly as it is. This loop is subtle, but its influence is enormous. Tiny repeated behaviors snowball into major shifts. And more than motivation or willpower, it's your habits that decide whether your desired reality materializes. Habits mirror identity. Your habits do not appear by accident. They're extensions of the beliefs you hold about yourself. If you see yourself as financially disorganized, your behaviors with money will match that identity. If you see yourself as someone who is vibrant and healthy, your lifestyle will reflect it. If you believe you are the architect of your reality, your daily actions will naturally align with your vision. You cannot outperform the identity you hold. Habits either strengthen who you already think you are or help you grow into who you intend to become, but identity is always the starting point. The strength of microhabits. Many people try to reinvent their whole lives in a single grand effort. They imagine transformation requires intensity. But real change usually comes from microhabits, small, steady behaviors that accumulate into powerful momentum. A simple daily action can reroute your entire path. 5 minutes of morning visualization sharpens your direction. Writing down your goals each day reinforces belief and identity. A quick gratitude practice elevates your emotional frequency and draws in opportunities. Swapping one limiting thought for an aligned one rewires your mental foundation. These small habits may feel insignificant, but repeated over time, they become unstoppable drivers of change. Designing habits with intention. Reality-shaping habits aren't created by accident, they're chosen deliberately. Each one should answer a single question. Does this habit support the reality I'm committed to creating? If yes, practice it consistently. If no, let it go without hesitation. Once integrated, habits run on low mental effort. They conserve your energy so your attention and emotion can be spent on higher-level creation. The emotional core of habits. Habits aren't merely behavioral, they're emotional. When a habit is linked to an identity and emotionally meaningful, it becomes nearly unbreakable. Exercise isn't just movement, it's the expression of a strong, capable self. Patience isn't only a skill, it's a feeling of grounded confidence. Morning rituals aren't just sequences, they set your emotional frequency for the day. Emotion magnetizes the habit. Identity guides it. Repetition cements it. Together, they create powerful alignment. Habits as the blueprint of destiny. Your destiny grows out of what you do consistently. Thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and identity establish the direction, but habits carry you along the path. Each aligned action strengthens your future. Each misaligned action, when repeated, steers you away from it. Reality shaping isn't mystical, it's mechanical. Habits are the daily mechanics that transform potential into lived experience. Your future self isn't waiting far away. It's being constructed through the choices you make today. Every deliberate action compounds into a life that matches your vision. Habits provide the engine. You provide the direction. Chapter 8, Actions, When Effort Meets Flow. If habits are the engine, then actions are the motion, the visible force that moves your reality forward. They are the point where intention becomes tangible, where thought, emotion, belief, identity, and habit converge into movement. Without action, all the inner work of shaping reality remains potential energy, ideas, feelings, or plans that never materialize. But when aligned, your actions become effortless extensions of who you are, and reality begins to bend toward your will. Action as an expression of alignment. Action is not merely doing, it is doing in alignment. Many people confuse busyness with progress, effort with results, and activity with manifestation. You can move constantly and still remain stuck. Aligned action is different. It flows naturally from your inner world. It is motivated by clarity, fueled by emotion, supported by belief, and guided by identity. When you act in alignment with yourself, you do not need to force the universe, you simply step into the current that is already moving in your direction. Think of it as dancing with reality rather than wrestling it. The difference between effort and struggle. Effort alone is often misinterpreted as a sign of progress. Struggle, on the other hand, is a sign of resistance, energy wasted fighting against what is natural or possible. Aligned action feels different. It carries a sense of purpose. It feels energetically right. It produces results faster and more efficiently. It resonates with the version of you that you are becoming. Struggle is the result of acting without alignment, when identity, belief, thought, or emotion are disconnected from action. Effortful flow is the signature of a reality shapeshifter. Inspired versus forced action. There are two types of action. 1. Forced action, action taken because you should or because you feel pressured. It often leads to fatigue, frustration, and limited results. 2. Inspired action, action taken because it feels naturally aligned with your inner direction. It carries momentum, energy, and magnetism. Reality shapeshifters learn to cultivate inspired action. This is not laziness. It is intelligence. It is the art of waiting for the right energy, the right clarity, and the right moment to act. And when you do, the universe often conspires to support your steps in ways you could not have engineered alone. Small steps, big shifts. Many people believe that only monumental action leads to transformation. The truth is different. Small, intentional steps taken consistently often produce far greater results than sporadic bursts of effort. Every step becomes a feedback loop. 1. Action produces evidence. 2. Evidence reinforces belief. 3. Belief strengthens identity. 4. Identity inspires emotion. 5. Emotion motivates further action. One small action aligned with your inner world can trigger a chain reaction that reshapes your reality. This is the power of compound movement, where intentional steps accumulate into life-altering momentum. The role of timing. Action is not only about what you do, it's also about when you do it. The universe responds to timing. Inspired action often appears as an internal cue, a feeling, a nudge, a synchronicity that signals the exact moment to move. A reality shapeshifter learns to notice these signals, to trust the inner guidance, and to act decisively when the energy is ripe. Too early, and the effort may be wasted. Too late, and the opportunity may pass. Aligned timing is as important as aligned energy. Action as the bridge to manifestation. Action is where intention meets reality. Thoughts alone create direction. Emotion gives momentum. Beliefs provide structure. Identity gives the who behind your movement. Habits sustain effort. But action is the bridge that converts all of this into tangible results. Every action you take, when aligned with your inner world, communicates to the universe. I am ready. I am committed. I am participating in the creation of my reality. Without action, potential energy remains unrealized. With action, the abstract becomes concrete. With inspired action, reality shifts in ways both predictable and miraculous. Mastering action. Mastery of action requires attention to alignment. Clarity, know the direction you are moving. Emotion, feel the motivation behind your steps. Belief, trust that your actions will yield results. Identity, step from the version of yourself you are becoming. Habit, act consistently to reinforce momentum. When all these elements converge, your actions are no longer merely effort, they become magnetism in motion. Action, in this context, is not about doing more. It is about doing right. And when you act from this state, the world begins to flow in your favor, revealing opportunities, synchronicities, and outcomes that were once invisible. Reality is not created by thought alone, emotion alone, or belief alone. It is created at the intersection of all these forces, expressed through consistent, inspired, aligned action. This is the essence of the reality shapeshifter. The universe meets you where you move with purpose, and when you act from alignment, the impossible becomes inevitable. Chapter 9, Destiny and Flow, When Reality Comes to You. By now, you understand the tools of reality shaping: thought, emotion, belief, identity, habits, and action. When practiced consistently, these elements allow you to consciously create your reality. But mastery carries a profound shift, one where action is no longer the only driver of change, and reality itself begins to move toward you. This is the realm of destiny and flow, the stage where the universe becomes your collaborator rather than a challenge. Flow is the state in which your inner world is fully aligned with the outer world. It is the invisible current that carries opportunities, solutions, and experiences directly to you. It is the moment when effort blends seamlessly with timing, and your intentions are amplified by unseen forces. This is the stage where the reality shapeshifter transcends struggle and begins to live in co-creation with life itself. The shift from doing to being. Earlier chapters emphasized alignment through deliberate action. Flow, however, requires a subtle but critical evolution, moving from doing to being. Being is not passive. Being is the state of existing in alignment with your inner truth, your identity, and your highest vision. It is embodying the person who already lives the reality you desire. When you are fully being, the need to force outcomes diminishes. The universe recognizes your vibration, and reality begins to bend toward the frequency you radiate. This is the essence of destiny. Not a fixed path you must chase, but a natural unfolding that responds to the version of yourself you consistently inhabit. The role of alignment in flow. Flow emerges when every layer of your inner world is coherent. Thoughts are clear and focused. Emotions are elevated and aligned with desire. Beliefs support expansion, not limitation. Identity embodies the version of you who is capable and empowered. Habits reinforce momentum. Actions are inspired and intentional. When all these layers converge, you no longer push reality, you magnetize it. Opportunities appear. People, resources, and synchronicities converge naturally. Life begins to orchestrate itself around your presence and your inner alignment. Flow is not random luck. It is the inevitable outcome of inner mastery. Signs you are in flow. You know you are in flow when opportunities appear effortlessly. Challenges dissolve or redirect naturally. Your energy feels abundant rather than drained. Actions feel effortless, even if they require effort. The timing of events seems perfect, almost uncanny. Intuition and insight guide your choices without strain. This is when reality becomes cooperative, and life begins to serve you instead of resisting you. It is here that the most advanced reality shapeshifters live, where external results are a reflection of internal mastery. Destiny as co-creation. Destiny is not a pre-written story, it is the unfolding of your creation in alignment with the universe. It is not surrender, it is co-creation. You bring focus, emotion, belief, identity, habit, and action. The universe brings opportunities, timing, and amplification. Together, you create a life that feels inevitable, effortless, and extraordinary. This is the ultimate expression of reality shaping. The point where you are no longer chasing reality, but reality is responding to you. Trusting the flow. The final step is trust. Trust in yourself. Trust in your alignment. Trust in the intelligence of the universe. Let go of the need to micromanage outcomes. Release the belief that struggle is necessary for creation. Step fully into the version of yourself that is capable, empowered, and aligned. When you do, the current of destiny carries you forward with a rhythm far greater than your effort alone could produce. Flow does not mean life becomes effortless in every sense, but it does mean life becomes intelligently orchestrated. You are no longer pushing water uphill, you are gliding along a river that knows exactly where to take you. The reality shapeshifter's promise. To live in flow is to live in mastery. To experience destiny is to witness the world bend in response to your inner alignment. This is not magic, luck, or coincidence, it is the natural result of skillfully shaping your inner world. The reality shapeshifter does not wait for permission. They do not follow life, they lead themselves. And when all layers of alignment converge, the universe becomes an active participant in their creation. You have the power. You have the tools. And now, when you step fully into flow, you find that reality itself moves to meet your intention. Chapter 10, Mastery, Dwelling as a Weaver of Reality. You've journeyed through the architecture of creation, thought, emotion, belief, identity, habit, action, and flow. Each layer is a mechanism, a current, a lever for shaping the world you walk through. Now, in this culminating chapter, we enter the realm of mastery, the point where these components cease to feel separate and begin to function as an integrated, instinctive way of being. Creation becomes constant. Alignment becomes habitual. You begin to live as the deliberate designer of your existence. Mastery has nothing to do with flawlessness. It is rooted in presence, coherence, and conscious choice. It is the fusion of your internal world with your external expression until shaping reality feels as natural as breathing, where intention, action, and receiving meet in harmony. Mastery as unified function. Mastery arises the moment you stop compartmentalizing your inner tools. Thought is more than a passing idea, it seeds belief and identity. Emotion is not simply an experience, it is the energetic charge that amplifies thought and attracts complementary circumstances. Belief is not a casual assumption, it is the architecture that directs identity and behavior. Identity is more than self-image, it is the blueprint from which your habits and responses emerge. Habits are more than patterns, they are identity in motion. Action is more than doing, it is alignment becoming physical. Flow is more than ease, it is conscious cooperation with life itself. To master your reality is to merge all these layers into one integrated system, each reinforcing the future you choose to embody. Living in intentional creation. A reality shapeshifter who operates from mastery does not drift, they generate. Nothing is random. Nothing is unconscious reaction. You rise each day aware of the reality you are stepping into. Your thoughts are purposeful. Your emotions are tuned to the frequency of what you intend to experience. Your beliefs are selected with awareness. Your identity mirrors the version of you capable of living the life you envision. Your habits anchor your alignment. Your actions arise from clarity rather than obligation. And your life responds in rhythm with your inner directive. Mastery is never about controlling the external world. It is about knowing yourself so deeply and directing yourself so precisely that the external naturally mirrors your state. The power of absolute self-responsibility. At the core of mastery sits one principle. Everything begins with you. You stop blaming timing, people, luck, or circumstance. You understand that your reality reflects the energy you emit, the assumptions you hold, the identity you inhabit, and the choices you embody. Self-responsibility is not about fault, it is about power. A master doesn't wait for permission or validation. A master initiates, shapes, and steers. This level of responsibility does not confine, it liberates. It hands you the keys to the creative engine at the center of your life. Mastery as a living evolution. Even mastery is fluid. The deeper your skill grows, the more refined and far-reaching your influence becomes. Your thoughts begin shaping broader patterns. Your emotional resonance deepens. Your beliefs stretch into greater possibility. Your identity expands past former boundaries. Your habits and actions create momentum that touches both your world and the worlds of others. Your flow becomes so attuned that life seems to collaborate with you. Mastery is never a final destination, it is a continuous unveiling of who you can become and what you can create. Becoming a reality shapeshifter. A masterful reality shapeshifter does not merely get through life, they engage it fully. They track the subtle shifts of thought and feeling. They choose beliefs that widen their horizon. They embody the identity aligned with their highest vision. They cultivate habits that nurture growth. They take intuitive, inspired action. They synchronize themselves with life's current and allow outcomes to meet them halfway. Every moment becomes an act of creation. Every experience becomes instruction. Every thought, decision, and interaction contributes to the ongoing sculpting of their world. This is the craft of a master. This is the path of the reality shapeshifter. Your call into mastery. Now the invitation extends to you. You possess the knowledge, the structure, and the tools. Your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, identity, habits, behavior, and alignment are your instruments. Your life is the canvas. Mastery isn't a far-off ideal, it begins the instant you choose to create consciously. In that moment, you become the architect of your experience. And in stepping into that role, you uncover the essential truth. You are not defined by circumstances. You are not confined by your past. You are not waiting for approval. You are the creator, the narrator, the architect of your destiny. Step into that knowing. Live from it. Let your reality reshape itself around your expanded identity. The power is here. The doorway is open. Become the reality shapeshifter you were always designed to be.